Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
Hey guys, what's up? Amir Reiter here. Another episode of the Transform Sales Podcast, the software demo review series. Got my guest, Daniel Duran. He is the head of marketing at Capsule CRM. Daniel, what's up, dude? How are you?
It's great to be here, man. I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you having. Love the living room. It's nice and cozy and relaxing.
Nice.
So from my understanding, Capsule is a huge platform. You guys help a lot of people. Today, I want to talk specifically about small business owners and the use case of an SMB and how those owners would typically achieve revenue through your platform and be able to focus on core KPIs across sales and marketing with a very easy to use interface. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the product and how it helps those people.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, very relevant audience for us. They're our ideal customer, really small businesses, and particular business owners, I would say, who are looking to get that growth quite quickly. And, they're looking for a solution that's quite easy to implement, use day to day. So Capsule really helps those people grow their business as easily as possible, as quickly as possible, with a solution that can be used by their sales and marketing teams as well, in order to, manage pipeline, manage contacts, grow their business quite quickly.
So if I understand correctly, when it comes to SMBs, in just a real world use case scenario, right? They're kind of able to fix the speed to implement, speed to get it up and running, right? And cost with Capsule, right? So you guys are focused on making it cheaper and faster and more efficient for SMBs to generate revenue versus perhaps other products that are just way too expensive, way too complicated and hard to implement, where you buy it and it takes 2 years to implement it later.
Yeah, correct. And, the buying process is very, very quick. It's a case of going on, getting into our free trial. That's it. You're already into the product then, and it's a 2-week trial. And we also have a free plan if you're of a certain size. So, it's very quick to get into, very quick to get to grips with. And we really focus on trying to close the gap against maybe some of those bigger competitors that offer quite complex solutions that you're not going to fully utilize. And so we're not just competitively priced, we offer great value in terms of the feature set that we offer to people.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Because, other products in the space, Salesforce, HubSpot, they moved up to the enterprise, right? And as their stock goes higher, their cost goes higher, their cost of them goes higher, right? But there's a huge part of the world that doesn't even have a CRM yet, right? And as they've been thinking about a CRM, all of these platforms becoming more complicated and more costly. But Capsule really says, okay, these guys are moving upstream. There's millions of people that just need a CRM, but also want, they want a CRM, but they also want some of the power they see, right? And so you're able to try to almost give them that enterprise power that they would find in a HubSpot or a Salesforce, but for a lower cost, which helps a huge part of the market, which has not adopted. Is that safe to say?
100% right, and I wasn't going to kind of bring the competitive names into it, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
But we do know that customers get into using a lot of platforms, and past a certain point, a few months in, maybe 6 months down the line, that cost does tend to ramp up, especially when you're trying to get into new feature sets, that kind of thing. We're a good alternative to that, especially if you consider your use case. You might have small business owners coming from using spreadsheets, that you don't want to jump into one of those more advanced solutions with a high degree of complexity in that use case. It's about
that's thinking the right way. How many people using spreadsheets right now? How many people are using spreadsheets? Millions. How many businesses? Millions.
So, and I think as well, you look at some of the geographies now, because now Capsule's it's not just available in English-speaking geos, it's also available in Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, French as well.
Yeah.
There are a lot of business in these geos, small businesses, that are moving from those spreadsheet type setups to looking for more of a robust solution to help them manage those contacts. Because a spreadsheet's not going to tell you when to reach out to a person at a certain point in time. That's what Capsule helps you do and helps you manage.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, you need to elaborate that, right? It's kind of like trying to buy a home in Toronto, right? When the average price is $400K and out, they become unobtainable, right? But you want the same bells and whistles. So basically what Capsule is really trying to do is you're trying to bring a premium CRM that is competitive with all of the features and functionalities that all of the best of breeds have, but at a low cost, fast implementation for the millions of people that don't have CRMs yet. And then when they go to CRM, they, oh my God, it's 40K, 50K this year. It's 100K to implement it, right? They're almost priced out for what they need, right? But you don't want to tell them, okay, well, hey, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. So you're kind of servicing a huge part of the market that's underserved. And by the way, everybody listening, of course, Capsule helps a wide range of people, right? We're focusing on one listing, right? On one case through SMB. But that makes a lot of sense. Talk to me a little bit about like what key performance indicators those SMBs are looking for to track success with Capsule, and what outcomes can they connect.
Yeah, the key one is going to be revenue growth, isn't it? You want to manage that pipeline, you want to see success in that, and then there's the time to success as part of that sales process as well. I also think in terms of customer retention, that's key, and so being able to keep customers, stay on top of those relationships, that's critical too. So for me, being able to realize those as quickly as possible through implementing the solution, they're two of the key KPIs on that. But there's obviously a wealth more that you can go out of it.
So if I heard you correctly, they're measuring you on no CRM to CRM because they're SMBs. Did we generate revenue with the CRM? Are we organized on time, right? And they typically measure you on those KPIs, which tell you right now if you are the wrong fit for an enterprise product, you're not going to see. You're going to always look at the cost and be unsatisfied, right?
Correct.
So it's like. It's in a way too, like they expect to be, they expect to see growth and be satisfied without it costing $1 million to implement, right? Last question. By the way, anybody watching this, we didn't do a demo this time just because there's sometimes sensitive information. So we're going to edit in some screenshots of the demo and we're going to do some more stuff and point you where you can see the product. Talk to me about like, what do the buyers we're talking about, the SMBs, new CRM, what should they expect an onboarding and ramp time to look like to get your product up and running?
It can vary depending on like what your data looks like, but it's quite quick. Again, it's a self-serve process. Everything's covered in the product. And so if you're coming from spreadsheets, for example, quite a quick process to get your data in the right order. Just upload it, get started. So you can go straight into that in the 2-week trial period. It's important to get your data right there because your CRM's only ever going to be as valuable as the data you get in there. But the process to do that's quite quick.
A lot of SMBs be able to go from no CRM, a spreadsheet to up and running within the 2-week trial.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of minutes if your data is in the right shape. Absolutely. Yeah. So the time to get up and running with it is very, very quick. And also if you want to bring integrations into the mix, like your accounting solutions, for example.
Does that make sense? Do your customers typically implement it themselves? Do they hire, third-party agencies? Are they hiring employees? Or is it something that you've also given the power for leaders to kind of self-implement? Like, what does that look like? Time-wise, 2 weeks, right? Obviously, it could be a little longer with more data. But from a staffing standpoint, what does that look like? Does that look like they just do it in-house, no problem, an upload or a spreadsheet? Or sometimes you're seeing people kind of expand their staff?
Majority of the time, it can just be self-serve in-house. It really depends on the nature of your challenge. If you've got a significant size sales team and a number of users that you want to get involved in the product, sometimes your challenge can be around culture change. So you may want to work with a consultant in order to tackle that. So it can really vary depending on the nature of your challenge and the point of the journey that you're at in terms of the growth that you're at in terms of your business. So we go from people that are wearing a lot of hats as business owners who are wanting to grow a specific sales team, for example. That could be about enablement, and that's when you might want to work with someone in order to achieve that.
That makes a lot of sense. But for the most part, for this specific listing, if you're an SMB, you're smaller, a lot of one of the big advantages is that you can implement it yourself, right? And then what you brought up, as your company grows, right?
Yeah.
And as features grow, you've seen companies that have worked with consultants or high staff, right? But it's more of, for the larger sales teams, right? Does that make sense?
Correct.
And more revenue.
Correct. Yeah. For this use case here, it's about just getting started, and that's so easy to do in-house. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. Daniel, this has been great. We didn't do the screen demo, so it'll be a little shorter, but you guys might see the demo because we're going to do our editing magic. For all of those that are listening, if you are an SMB, if you're on spreadsheets or if you're on a CRM, click the link below. They have a free trial and you guys can get implemented within 2 weeks. So by the time you're making a buying decision, you're already up and running, which is awesome. For anybody else who wants to learn more about you and the company, where can they connect with you? Is it LinkedIn? Where are you most active these days?
Yeah, LinkedIn is definitely good for us, both as a company and as individuals. You know, myself, our CEO, we're all really active on LinkedIn. So just reach out to us. We'll be happy to connect with you.
Awesome. Daniel, I appreciate your time. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Transform Sales Podcast Software Demo Review, or I think episode 170 or something like that, something higher. Looking forward to working with you guys more and helping not only SMBs, but obviously more companies find you guys as we build out those use cases. Thank you for joining us, and everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a good one, dude.
Thank you. Take care.